Morning, people. How we doing? Random as ever, I know. And that's more just waking up at about 7 o'clock this morning and just seeing a bit of news. So it actually looks like we're meant to be interested in Savinho. I think that's a random bit of news as well, isn't it? I don't think many of us was quite expecting that one to pop up. I mean, I've got to admit, there's one that definitely popped up out of nowhere. I mean, I look at it, I know he had a good season in Spain season before, and say he had a relatively good season at Man City. I mean, to get in their first team, fair enough. Definitely a promising player, definitely quick, definitely good on the ball. But the other side of it, I see, there's a lot of potential to him. That's another 21-year-old. Now, it's different to what we got. I mean, tell who actually sees anything promising in that, realistically, Odebert, all that. So I totally get that one. But it's another kid to an extent. Yeah, more experienced than the others. And would I say no to him at Spurs? Of course not. He's significantly better than what we got. So I would quite happily take him. I mean, what would the price be for him? 50, 60 million. If I remember right, Man City paid about 20 mil for him, didn't they? 25 million euros, something along those lines. And yeah, there's definitely one that pops up out of nowhere. I mean, I know in Spain, I only see him play once or twice, and that was just more off just watching what was going on in Spain. I don't really follow Spanish football. But if I remember right, in Spain, he played on the right a majority of the time. And City played on the left. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember exactly. It's that early in the bloody morning. But I know he's played on the left just as much as he's played on the right, on both of them. So it's a good option. Doesn't score many goals, though. And that is the thing a lot of us are complaining about at the minute. Where are the goals coming from? Could we use him as a 10? That one, I don't know. I would presume we don't get him for the 10. We get him for the wing. With me, the only problem I've got with it is a lot of people, me being one of them, have complained that we seem to just spend the money on the kids. Haven't we got enough 21-year-olds in a team? I mean, I'm just trying to weigh this up. I mean, I've seen him play at City about 7 times. I think I watched him last season, 7, 8 times, something along those lines. Good player. He's actually quite exciting. And that's one thing we have very lack of at Spurs. He's got a bit of flair, like Kudos in that aspect. But I'd say very different type of player. He can take his man on easy enough. He's got the pace to do it. He's got the skill to do it. So again, I wouldn't say no to him. But there is that other side of me. Why do we need to go for a 21-year-old again? I must admit, I would rather go for someone more established, go for someone older, go for someone more experienced. Again, but I'm not going to say no to him either. I'll be quite happy with him. Definitely. I mean, more experienced than Tell. Definitely a million times better than Odebert, not a problem. And better than what we've got there. So, yeah, I'll take him quite happily. Seen him play, like I said, exciting player. He looks like he can pass the ball. I haven't really seen him cross the ball that much, so I'm not going to vouch for that one. Finishing, I mean, what was it? He got a goal last season, but he got about 8 or 9, 10 assists, something along those lines. You know me, I ain't exactly numbers. But there is that side of me where he's 21, coming on 22, I think someone just mentioned. I would want a more established player. But again, I'm definitely not going to say no to him because I think he's significantly better than what we've got and a good player. And if we've got 2 people on the flanks that can take on their man, we now look that little bit more of a threat on the sides. You put Savinho on the left and Kudus on the right. We now look that little bit more intimidating. And we still need that number 10. We still need that playmaker more desperate than we need this player, in my opinion. So again, on another side of it, whilst looking at him, if we're going to do both, then do the job and get both. I'll be happy with that. But I think we need to be looking at a number 10 more than we need to be looking at a left winger. I think the 10 is more important. So if we only get the choice of one or the other at Spurs, because we don't usually get both, do we? We usually get one or the other. We're lucky if we get one usually, but one or the other, I would personally say miss him and try and find that out and out number 10 playmaker. But that's just looking at it from a side if we only get one. Now, if we're going to do both, go get him. Significantly better than what we got there. And I wouldn't say no to him. Again, from what I've seen play, very good player. I mean, got international experience. I mean, to get in Man City's first team, you've got to be doing something, right? You know, you've got to be good. I mean, I find it strange that he'd be willing to leave, but would that be to get more game time as such? Because he would walk into our team. There's definitely questions with it. And I think a lot of people would agree. Go for him. He's significantly better than what we got. I mean, how much is he going to cost? I mean, if I remember right, it was about 25 million euros they paid for him. So around about 20 million, but he's going to go for about, I would see us having him at 50, 60, something along those lines. And as long as we still go for that 10, I can accept this. If we then buy him and don't go for a 10, I'm not going to be happy with this 110%. Because I feel that number 10, that playmaker, where we lack Maddison there now, and Kulusevski ain't coming back anytime soon, and he's not a playmaker either, really, and we have not got nobody for that 10 role, I feel the 10 is more important. So if you give me the choice of one or the other, I would give him a miss and go for that out and out number 10. But if we can have both, I ain't going to complain. I think he's a very good player from what I've seen. Like I said, can pass the ball, can take his man on, got a bit of strength on him, got a bit of experience for his age. I don't really dig the age bit, though, because I do want the older, more experienced player. It's definitely got its ups and downs to it, I think. But again, it's significantly better than what we got. So if we do get him, I won't really complain. But again, I'll say it again. If we go and get him and we don't get a 10, then I'm not going to be the happiest person out there. I want a 10. A 10 is more important than going for another left winger because that's where we're going to use him. And from what I did check up on him, he's played around about 50, 60 games on the left and he has on the right as well. So he's a versatile player as well, which is a good thing to have. Always a good thing. So, I mean, what does everyone else think on this one? I mean, I must admit, like I say, I'm definitely interested in it, but I'm definitely sceptical of it as well because we just need that 10 out more and more. So I'll say hello to a couple of people. I ain't going to do longest show again. Not a great night's sleep. Up early again, so I thought, you know what, I'll just do a show again. I haven't even had my first bloody cup of coffee. So Tarek, morning Dan, morning to you too, mate. Hope you had a good night. Hayden, morning Dan, morning to you too. And Zai, what's that? Zai 1, morning mate, morning to you as well, mate. And Ron, bring back Winkson and Dombele. Oh, yeah, of course, mate. Why not? And PH family, big up, Dan. If we can get Savinho over the line, it would be a great signing. Yeah, I think it would be a very good signing. Significantly better than what we got. But like I said, we need that 10 more. So I'm more interested in going for a number 10. If you give me the choice of one or the other, I'd give him a miss and go get that number 10. I think it's more important for us. We've got players who can play on the left. No, Tell ain't great. No, Odebert ain't great. But they can cover that left for the meantime. We need a 10 much more importantly, in my opinion. We need that playmaker. And with Spurs, we never, ever seem to get both. It's usually one or the other. So if you're going to get a choice of one or the other, do you want a good left winger? Or do you want that out-and-out number 10 playmaker that we just do not have? And Lily White, big up to you too, mate. Morning, Dan. Hope you're well, mate. Same with you, fella. Would be a big fan of this one if we can get it over the line. Far better than the wingers we got. Totally agree with that. Unreal at Girona. Yeah, he had an excellent season at Girona. Like I say, I don't really follow the Spanish league. I follow the Italian league. But I do check up on the Spanish league just to keep up to date on it as such. And he did get mentioned a hell of a lot in it. But I didn't see him play in Spain at all, but I did see him play for City 7 or 8 times, and yeah, definitely a significantly good player. Unreal at Girona and got a lot of potential, but he's ready now. Yeah, I mean, if he's played, how many games for City last season? How many did he play? It says 29 he played for City last season. 1 goal, though. 10 assists. Okay, we definitely need the assist there, but 1 goal. And a lot of people are complaining about where has our goal ratio gone now that Son's out, now that Maddison's out. We also need someone who can score the goals as well, because Solanke isn't going to do that on his own, is he? He's not that sort of striker that's going to cover us 25, 30 goals in the season. Is Kudus going to be that type of player that scores more than 10 goals? Nothing has really proved that as yet. And we go and get another winger now. Okay, he's got the assists on him, but he doesn't score the goals. So that's the other question I would have on him. And there's no way I'm questioning that he's not significantly better than what we got. But we definitely need someone who can score goals. And that doesn't seem his strongest point, does it? And again, like I said, with the age bit, I'm not too keen on that. But like people were saying, he has got a significant experience for that. And I just feel we need that number 10 significantly more importantly. I think we could spend that 60 million on a position we need to cover desperately. And Sam, big up Dan, big up to you too. Savinho is like an old school Brazilian. Yeah, I'd agree with that from the way I've seen him play. His ball carrying ability is elite, extremely good, again, from what I've seen. I've only seen him play 7 or 8 times, so I can't judge him totally on it. But what I've seen, he's excellent on the ball, got good control of the ball, got good passing of the ball. Can't say I've seen many crosses off him, though. But other people who've seen him play significantly more than me will be able to judge the player fairer than me. So I can only go by what I see, but I can't really judge him properly because I haven't really seen him play that much. And you're saying his ability is elite. He played way better on the left than the right. I think it goes straight onto the left for us, experience, but 21. Yes. But then to play, like it says here, 29 games in the Premier League, 4 in the FA Cup, 9 in the Champions League, and also in the Community Shield and also in the League Cup. He's definitely got to be doing something right to get into his first team and play on the left. I mean, here it also says on the left, he's played 58 games with 11 goals altogether and 15 assists. On the right, he's played 57 games, 4 goals and 8 assists. So he definitely looks better on the left. And attacking midfield, he's also covered 8 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. I mean, would we actually be getting him to cover for the 10 for the meantime? And yeah, would we actually be doing that for him? I very much doubt it for the fact of that he is a left or right winger. And I just want that number 10 more than anything. And yeah, the 21 thing, but he's extremely experienced compared to what we did get. And he's definitely a much better player than what we have. And so the Boomverse morning, big up Dan, morning to you too, mate. And Savinho, get this deal done. Baller is a left winger, but can switch to the right wing. Yeah, from what I just read on there, mate, he's played just as much on either side. So it's a bit of a no-brainer in that aspect to go and get it. But again, I keep repeating it. We need that number 10 more desperately than we need that winger. And with Spurs, it is usually just one or the other, and that is the frustrating thing about it. So I'm just thinking of it of more of a one or the other sort of view. So let's just say hopefully we can get both. And Sam Savinho isn't like an 18-year-old, though. He's experienced 22-year-old. I think he massively improved. I totally agree with that. Maybe I'm not looking at it fairly because of his age. I know he's got significantly more experience than anyone that we did get there, like Odegaard or Tell. I know that. But it is that thing again of going for the younger player, but a lot more experienced. So you can sort of let that go a bit. And morning to you, Mashing Joe. And Luxo, Einstein, tapping Bomber. I presume you're saying that's about the possible transfer, but morning to you, mate. Hayden, morning. Dan, do you not think, although he's young, he's got some really solid experience and high end of football already for his age? Yeah, totally. That's what I just said, basically. For his age, he does actually have the experience, doesn't he? I mean, like I said, to do a solid season at Man City and play a significant amount of games, you got to be half decent, ain't you? You're not going to exactly get into the team because they're that desperate for a player there either, are they? So I will totally go with what everyone's saying. He has got significant experience for his age. So maybe I should put the age part out of it then, because he does have the experience. I just keep repeating it, but I just think we need that 10 so much better. And Sam saying, from the left, he's a brilliant crosser of the ball. Solanke will benefit from him, that's for sure. Crossing, when I have seen him play, I haven't really seen him cross the ball that much. I've seen him pass the ball significantly more. I've only seen him, if I remember right, from the games, a couple of crosses. So again, I'm not going to judge him on his crossing ability because I haven't really seen him do much of it. Like I say, I've only seen him play 7 or 8 games. So I can't even really judge him fairly anyway in that aspect. But again, significantly better than what we've got from what I've already seen. And Tariq still needs 10 badly. That is exactly my point. And it is usually with us, it is either one or the bloody other. So if I have to go for a choice, I'd blow him out and go for that number 10 desperately. And Sam, morning, mate. Let's get a double deal done and bring in Grealish or McAtee as well. I think that would be a brilliant idea. Now, just think of it this way then. We go get Savinho and then we also go get Grealish on a loan. And I think Grealish would cover that number 10 position good enough. I mean, he'd done it at Villa many a time. I mean, if I remember right, Grealish at Villa, that was his main position at first, wasn't it? Attacking midfield central. So I think that would be a good idea. From what I've read with Grealish, we're meant to be interested in him, but only willing to pay up to 180 grand of his wages. And City aren't too keen at that. So the thing, I said it on Sav's show last night, that I could see happening is, don't you hate it when you wake up in the morning, you still got crap in your eyes? I could see it coming to literally the last day of the season and we get him on loan if they can't get him out on loan to anyone else who's going to pay more wages for him. Because that's the problem they're definitely going to have with Grealish. There's going to be no one out there who's going to pay, what is he on, 280, 300 grand a week. There's going to be no one out there who pays that wages for him. Not that I can see anyway. But yeah, if we go and sign him and then sign Grealish or McAtee, then that's a different story. But we got to get both in that aspect. And PH Family saying, I think they want 50 mil. I mean, again, why would City be selling him? That's the other question. Does it come down to the FFP? Because City do not make as much money as us. I don't think there is any clubs in the Premier League that make as much money of us unless they're selling players or winning competitions. And maybe they just need some extra money to bring up that FFP just a little bit. I don't know. There could be a couple of reasons to it. I mean, if you've just paid 20 mil for someone, or 25 million euros, which is about 21 mil, whatever, and then you get an offer of 50, 60 for him, I suppose you could definitely say that's good business, can't you, in that aspect? So there's a lot of reasons that this could be happening. And I ain't going to take it gospel. I mean, from what I saw in the news and everything, it says clubs are definitely talking, so there is a positive side to it. We all know what happens with Spurs. We do love talking and no action, don't it? And Sam, morning, mate, what are you saying here? Has anyone noticed that the talent IQ has improved massively since Frank took over? Kudus, Paulinho, and now Savio. Hopefully get a good 10 and another 9. That one I don't see happening. We're not going to get a 10 and a 9. A 9 is not going to happen. We got Solanke there, and give me a choice. I'll kick Richarlison out all day long. I'll pay for his bloody Uber up to the airport. But getting him out is just the awkward bit because he's just going to claw his way in there. He does not want to go anywhere. Yeah, at Spurs, this is where I feel we need to be more ruthless with players. You know what? We don't win you. We don't want you. So you're going to go train on your own. You're not even going to go in the youth, and we ain't going to pick you. Simple as that. For me, it's as simple as that because you can do that. But even if you go and do that, if the player decides he ain't going nowhere, and he was and he's happy with that, you can't just force the player out. I mean, how cancelling the contract works and everything as well. I don't even know if I remember right from what I checked up, you can't even just cancel the contract, i.e. pay him off and pay his contract out. He actually has to agree with it, because if he doesn't want the contract cancelled, he can actually take the club to court on unfair dismissal of contract or whatever it comes under. There is a couple of little bits to it. But if we can get rid of Richarlison and get in another number 9 in there, obviously I'm all game for it. But I don't think the number 9 is the main place that we need to sort out. It is that number 10. But yeah, I would not say no to another number 9, obviously. But does anyone really see Spurs going out there? And if we say buy Savinho, 50 million, let's just say random number, 50 million. We go and buy him and then go, and if we get a decent number 10, we're going to be spending another 50 million, 60 million at least. So there's 110. And then if we want a good number 9, you're talking about another 50, 60 million out there as well. So you're already talking about another 6, 12, 80, 180 million Spurs are going to spend on 3 players in the next couple of weeks. Does anyone see that realistically happening? I don't. Call it a negative side, but I'm just trying to be realistic there with Spurs. I honestly don't see that happening. A PH family saying the Athletic are reporting that the package is worth in a region of 43.3 million, 50 million euros is under discussion. Yeah, again, I wouldn't say no to him. I just want that number 10 position more. Spurs Royal morning, mate. This is rubbish. City won't do business with Levy standing down. Yeah. I look, if someone want to sell a player and they think they can get the money out of Levy, they're going to do business with him. It's just, we all know and everyone knows that they say they hate doing business with Levy because he's the most awkward bastard out there to do anything with, innit? And GG Giant 69, morning Dan, morning to you too, mate. And Jessica saying morning Dan, morning to you. Don't actually know much about Savinho, but I think I need to do a Danny Rose on him. Like I said, I've seen him play 7 or 8 times. He looks like a very good player. And he wouldn't just be a young player that we're buying purely on potential as such. Like other players that we've bought of recent, it is more of a potential thing that we've gone and got them on, like Tell. I mean, I don't see the potential on him. I think he's bloody awful for us. But there's definitely a lot of younger players. We say Archie Gray, prime example. We did not buy him for that team now. We bought him for potential, basically. Bergvall. I don't think we bought him for now, even though he's worked his way into the team. We got him as a potential thing. This one, I don't see as much of a potential. There's definitely potential to it, but we've definitely bought him for the capability of what he's got now as well. But again, I've only seen him play 7 or 8 times, so I can't really judge him as fair as others that would have seen him play all over the season. And Nick, big up to you too, mate. I got prediction correct yesterday, 2-2 and penalties so far this season. First City, second Chelsea, third Arsenal, fourth Liverpool. Okay. For me, with that one, I think it's going to be more on the lines of Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal is where I think that one's going to go. I think Chelsea this season, I think you're definitely going to have to look at as the underdogs, or the other word, dark horses, whatever way you want to put it, for actually winning the league. I mean, if Chelsea go and get another goalkeeper, to me, they then look like a very dangerous team. And they've got a very big squad as well. So they've definitely got the capability on covering it. And Clement, morning, mate. And Dan, I don't think this will happen. Remember, this is Spurs. Totally agree with you. It's just, you get the bit of news, so you talk about the bit of news. I mean, as all we've had to talk about over 2-3 weeks is Morgan Gibbs-White, and then how Morgan Gibbs-White don't work, and then how we haven't bought anybody. So at least it gives us a bit of hope that there's something going on in the background. Until it happens, I believe it when I see it. But the more it gets spoke about, the more obviously me and other channels and other people are going to speak about it, because it is the bit of news at Spurs. And I suppose it's a positive thing to talk about, that we're actually looking at a good player. We're actually looking at a player coming from a big team as well. and who has played significant amount of team games for Man City as well. So there's definitely a positive side to it. And what would people rather we talk about? Sit here and talk about Savinho, that it could happen, what would he do, this and that? Or do we just sit here and keep on going on about how we didn't get Morgan Gibbs-White, we haven't spent the money, we're not doing this and that? Because otherwise we're just repeating ourselves time and time again. I mean, that is the reason why sometimes... I mean, I can't keep up with other people in the amount of shows I do. There's medical reasons for it, but there's also the point of I can't just do a show every day for the sake of it, just to sit there and just complain about it all the time, because it does take it out of you. I go on other people's shows and do it as well, but then I always give myself a miss for a couple of days because you're just doing the shows and you're just repeating yourself over and over again because there is nothing going on. At least with this, looking at this and you're talking about this, it is something positive to look at. I suppose that's the way I take it, how others would see it. Each their own. And Mashing and Joe, I picked Palace to win. I didn't even watch the game yesterday. I was out for a meal with the in-law family as such. I mean, nan-in-law, if that's what you want me to call her. She's a lovely lady, and she's an excellent bloody cook as well. So always love going around there. But that side of the family really ain't into football, so I ended up missing the football there. But I would have thought Liverpool would have destroyed Palace, but it shows you again anything is possible on a day. And Ron Savinho might just be a smoke in the screen for signing nobody. Exactly, it could be a lot of things. I mean, at the end of the day, it's exactly what people are saying here. Don't basically get too hyped up because it is Tottenham doing this. It is Spurs doing this. So it is down to that point of what I said, and I'm sure others are going to say it as well, is it's a good bit of news to see that we're interested, but I believe it when I see it. It's like with Paulinho, when it basically said, done, dusted, sorted, I still had that attitude of, yeah, I'll wait until I see him sitting there in a Spurs shirt, and then I'll take it deadly serious. And Tony, morning Dan, morning to you too, mate, and morning to the chat. Big up, fella. Hope everything's good. We are. The Spurs rule, Lange needs to be sacked ASAP. I totally agree with that. He doesn't seem to be doing the job at all. And Ron saying piss off at Tony. And Mashing the Joe, I agree that City will win the league. Liverpool hasn't retained the league since 1984. Hope they fail again. Fair enough. I mean, they don't have a habit of doing that. But if you go look at the transfers they've made, you can't tell me that they don't have a solid 11 out there and a good squad as well. If ever they've got a chance of doing it, now is their chance of doing it, in my opinion. I think they've got a better first 11 than City. It's purely opinionated. But if you go by squad strength, City is definitely stronger than them. What is that? 9:32. And Paul Watkins, thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated for the super chat. If we get Savinho, that's our window done. That's the other thing as well, isn't it? I could see it being done. And again, back to that, I think we need that. I think we need that number 10 significantly more, mate. I really do. Because I don't see us going spending another 60, 70 million on a decent number 10 if we go and spend that 60 million on Savinho. Call it a negative attitude, but again, it is Spurs, isn't it? And Spurs rule, Lange is on a mission to destroy our squad and fill it with young, low-wage rubbish. I wouldn't put this one with low-wage rubbish. I don't think he's going to have the lowest wages out there. No, I don't think he's going to be on like 300 grand a week, but I don't think he's going to have the lowest wages out there. I mean, he's just done a season at City and he's a Brazilian international. All right, this Brazilian team is absolute dog shit compared to what I saw 25 years ago, but he's an internationally established player and he'd done a whole season at City and basically had an extremely good season in Spain from what people have told me and from what I've read. So I don't think that one's quite fitting it with the low wage rubbish, but he is young, but significantly more experienced than others we have bought in that position, isn't he? Like again, I described him to tell who is more than willing to spend, what was it altogether, about 45 million on him, which was crazy in my opinion. But yeah, Sam, We struggled against low block teams last season. Kudus and Savinho are the type of players that can dribble past and break a solid low block defence. Clever signing. You know what? I can see it from that side as well. Because the thing you already noticed is that teams have sort of already seen it with Spurs. Up front, we're just no threat by Kudus. So double up on him. And that sort of sorts out the problem, doesn't it? And that is something that I say what a good manager does by adapt to each game, assess each game that you're going to play. And this is one thing that I felt Ange never did at all. I was always one of the first ones to say, like, right, if you're playing Liverpool, Salah is a major problem out there. Double up on him. When you're playing a team and they have got a specific player up front who is a danger to you, you double up on him. I think it's quite as simple as that to an extent, but more to it. But that is what people have done with us already. Doubled up on Kudus, took him totally out of the game. I mean, Munich did that. Doubled up on him, took him completely out of the game. Whether they did or didn't, they would still beat us anyway. I wasn't so heartbroken or hurt by that 4-0 defeat against Munich. Yes, a couple of mistakes on our side, but the goals they scored, but 3 of the 4 goals they scored were extremely good goals that would have opened up most teams. I can deal with that defeat against Munich for the sheer fact of I don't think we played terrible. I don't think our formation was terrible or the tactics to it. I just think that is a game like the game we're going to have PSG when you just get beaten by the better team. Now, if I can see that the right team was picked and the right tactics are used and all the effort was put in from the team and the manager and we go and get beaten by the better team, I think that's a lot easier to accept than when you look at it, we're just conceding the same goals that we conceded time and time again last season and everything else, and then that just pisses you off no end. But again, just call that a personal opinion. And Paul Watkins, and what you're saying here, big up, Dan, big up, mate, and definitely not getting Grealish now. Yeah, if we go and get him, I could still see Grealish happening at the end of the season, at the end of the transfer window, should I say, sorry. And I definitely think he could be significant cover for that number 10 position. Not a first choice for it, but more than good enough for it. And I think he'd be better at the number 10 position than Kulusevski. But it's going to be significant. I mean, when does Kulusevski come back? From what I remember, it's around about December, something like that. And then he's got to get back on his feet, get playing again. So if he does come back in December, you're not really going to see him get back on his feet until round about January, February with some experience on the pitch and everything else. And if we do go and get Grealish, then that's that number 10 covered for the meantime. And then we've also got another player who can play out on the left. But then I do agree with what you're saying. With already having Tell and Odegaard there, would we go and do that? The only reason I could see us getting Grealish if we get Savinho is to put him as the number 10. And Dean, morning Dan, morning mate. And if City are prepared to let him, I am very suspicious of the player. Look, anyone who's just done a season at City, they've got to be good. And if City let him go, it could be for FFP, it could be for a couple of things. They could even just take that 50, 60 million, whatever we're going to pay for him, call it 50 million, and go and put it towards a significantly better player that they can go and get because they've got money in the bank as well, because City can attract the best. So they might already have their eyes on someone else they want to play on the left who is significantly better or more established, and just go and put that money towards them because they can go out and buy the world-class players. We can't do that. So I could see a couple of reasons happening to it. So I wouldn't say I'm suspicious of the player. And Dope, what you're saying here, mate. Savinho, right wing, Kudus 10. Kudus does seem like the only player we've got up front at the moment who's got a bit of creativity, doesn't he? And he has played on the 10, he does play on the left, but it shows that you significantly see the better out of him when he plays on the right-hand side. So I don't think, we definitely didn't buy Kudus for the 10, but if we needed someone to cover it, I suppose that one is an option, isn't it? And then you'd obviously have, there's options you can do with that one. I mean, you could put Johnson on the right. Not that I particularly want Johnson in the bloody game, but he is only one who seems to be able to score the goals at the moment last season out of everyone we've got, even though I just don't rate the player. And stick Savinho on the left and Kudus in the middle. It could be another way of... It's the manager's job. This is going to be Frank's job. Okay, he's not going to be given the players that he needs to do what he wants to do, which you can say to an extent happened to Ange as well, but his tactics, he'd have still got cooked no matter who he had there. It is now Frank's job to play with the cards he's got, something I've said why I wanted him as a manager, because he has got the significant ability so far from what we've seen at other clubs that he's been at, that he can play with the cards he's got. He can give himself options. He can adapt. Well, if he doesn't get the players he needs in that, we can give him that bit of leeway by basically saying, no, he hasn't got the players. But I still expect to see him adapt. I still expect him to see and try and get the best out of the team he has got, because I am personally one who thinks he's got the capability of doing it. And Spurs will also say, like, Eze, no excuses, pay 100 million now instead of the hotel. I mean, 100 million for Eze, that's like a bit way too much for me. But it's not my money at the end of the day. But as long as we go and get the good players in there, if we have to pay double for them, just go and bloody do it. It ain't out of my back pocket now, so what do I give a shit? But 100 million would be, I think, a bit much for Eze. But again, if we went and paid 100 million for Eze and then also got Savinho for 50, 60 million, I wouldn't be complaining. It's not my money, so it doesn't hurt me in that aspect. And Mashing Joe saying City let Palmer go too. Do you know what? Very good point. So I suppose anyone sitting here saying, like what got said earlier, I'm suspicious if City want to let him go, whatever else. Well, they let Palmer go for, what was it, 45 mil, and look how good he turned out to be. After the way he's played at Chelsea, would anybody say no for him at Spurs? Whereas before he went Chelsea, I bet you there'd have been a lot of people who'd have turned around and said, no, thank you, don't want him at Spurs. But at Chelsea, he's been one of the best players in the Premier League over the past 2 seasons. So just because City let him go. I mean, the other thing you've got to look at with City letting a player go, I think, is it's not exactly a throw out from the City as such. To get in that City team regular, you got to be the dog's bollocks, basically, ain't you? You got to be significantly good to get in that City team, full stop. So just because City don't particularly want the player anymore, don't think he's necessarily good enough for what they want to do, the chances are he's still more than good enough for Spurs, because we are just so far behind City in quality and standards that you could look at their subs bench, same as you could with a couple of other teams, and everyone on that subs bench would walk into our first team. So I'm not bothered if it's like City want to let him go because he's not quite good enough for what they want to do. But again, I think he's a good buy. I just want that number 10 significantly more. I feel that is where we should be looking at. And Spurs will say our strikers are poor. Yep, I agree, but I just don't see us going for a striker. I want us to, but I just don't see it happening. Spurs rule, City won't do business with Daniel and vice versa. I disagree. If City want that money, if anyone wants that money and they know one way or another they can get the deal out of Daniel Levy, even if it's a deal that drags on a bit, they will go and do it. It's business at the end of the day. I think one of the only ones out there who would significantly be stubborn enough to not do any business with us now is the fella at Nottingham Forest. He's stubborn enough and got the attitude enough to say, I don't care if I need the money. Fuck off, basically. So, whereas other teams, when it comes down to business, it's business at the end of the day. Whether you like the fella you're doing the business with or not, isn't really the point. If it's about money at the end of the day and you can get the money you want, if it's, you know, you're not necessarily going to do, say with Chelsea with us, for example, they're trying to sell a player. There's a chance that Chelsea don't sell us the player because they don't want to do us no favours. But on the other side of it as well, with their owners and that, I don't think their owners particularly give a shit on like who a club's got a problem with and who they haven't. If they want that money in there, they will do business with whoever they want to go and get the money, whether they like the club, like the business, like the person, whatever. Do you really care who you do business with at the end of the day if you're looking for 60 million and the other fella's going to pay the 60 million one way or another? Do you care whether you like him or not? Do you care whether you like his club or not? I don't. Maybe others do, but I personally don't. And I think there's a lot of clubs out there who really wouldn't give a toss, except that Nottingham Forest fella. And PJ Berlin, morning mate, morning Dan, morning to you. And C Tottenham Full say he's got a good amount of assists, but different when you're feeding a robot rather than a pigeon. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, go stick him on FIFA. And Denzel's saying, no, Savinho, Savvy. Okay, fair enough. I think you're going to see a very split decision on this one. I think there's going to be some saying, well, they don't think he's good enough. I mean, whether I think he's good enough or not ain't the point I'm making. I'm just saying I think there's going to say that some will say it. There's always some that do. There's going to be some that are saying one of the things I'm saying, he is 21, 22, and we've said we want more established players. But again, he's definitely got more capability and more experience than other younger players we've got. There's also going to be people making the point that I'm saying of we need a 10 more desperately than we do a winger. There is reasons to it on why I can understand why certain people wouldn't necessarily want to go for it. And Jessica, I honestly, let me start again. I honestly think once we get a left wing identified, we will pull the trigger on Eze. Left wing and striker all at the same time. How big of a statement does that make? Well, I definitely think you're living on a bit of hope there because I really don't see that one happening. Now, if we went and got the left winger with Savinho and then we went and got the number 10, I can see that as a possibility. I could see it happening. Do I think it would happen? No, I don't. But I could see it happening. Do I see us getting a left winger, a number 10 and a striker? Like I said, you're talking about another 180 million. That isn't going to happen at Spurs. I can't say a fact. We don't know what happens until the end of the window. But I would be willing to put a significant amount of money on it that don't happen. In that aspect, you just got to accept we are Spurs, and it just there's nothing in the past that says that could happen. So I think you're going a bit too far with that one. But it's like a lot of people saying we can't get Eze. It's not going to happen. Arsenal want him. I'm not disputing the fact that Arsenal want him, but they still haven't got him. I think he's another one that if there's, say, a week left or a couple of days left on the transfer window and he hasn't gone anywhere and Arsenal haven't got the money to spend it basically and get him, then he would have to look the other way as well if he wants to play in the Champions League, whatever else, even though Palace do actually look better than us at the moment. Then he's going to have to look over to us and take us into consideration. And then it's up to him on whether he'd want to do it or not and how we'd be willing to pay it or not and whether Palace would want to accept the deal or not. It's one I could see happening if it's on the last 3-4 days of the transfer window and Arsenal and no one else has gone for him. So I don't think it's impossible that we get Eze. I don't see it happening, but I don't think it's impossible either. And Dean is saying Savio can't score. Get Eze, please. Yeah, I would rather have Eze all day long. I agree with that. He would play as our number 10. He can also play as a left wing when needed. Eze is the one I would rather us go for. And I do agree with what you're saying. One of the main things we are talking about at the moment is the lack of goals we've got up front. And he's not a goal scorer. I think there's definitely positives to it. Significantly more positives than negatives. But there is a couple of points you can pick out on this one as well. And if it's goals that we need, is he really the man that we need on the left? That's where people can start asking questions. And I think it's fair questions as well. So in that aspect, it is the point of what are we getting him for then? What are we getting him to do? Are we getting him to take it on the wings and be our playmaker, sort of to an extent almost be a playmaker on the side, like a proper old school winger, get it up there, get the ball in the box? Then we'd have two people on... we'd have a person on either side who's got the pace, who's got the power to take their man on. We'd actually look like a bit of a threat on the wings, wouldn't we? We'd actually look like a bit of danger, basically, to an extent. It's just in the middle, we just wouldn't look... we wouldn't exactly look dangerous anyway with Solanke or bloody Richarlison there. But it definitely makes us look that little bit formidable on the wings. And... Mashing Joe saying, I hate the way Eze takes penalties. either way, would you complain with him at Spurs? Would you complain with it if Spurs went and got him? I'm personally not complaining. Eze is a player I've wanted for about 2 years now. And Finn saying, I've got no problem with Spurs bringing in Savinho as long as we are making moves to bring in a 20-plus GA player at the same time. Exactly. That's basically what I'm getting at. If we go and get him and we also get the number 10, I'm a happy man, happy as a pig in shit. That's fine by me. But if we just go and get the left winger and don't get the number 10, I don't feel it's a great move. Or is it that they've looked out there and they just can't pick or find a number 10 that they want? I'm sure most of us could sit here and pick a few number 10s they could go for, or who we think they could go for, and they've decided to just cover that side instead. We don't know what goes on behind the lines, basically. But again, we need that 10 more desperately, in my opinion. At Spurs rule, Kudus and Savinho, the very definition of all fart. No, fair enough, if that's how you want to see it. And again, Paul, thanks a lot for the super chat, mate. And Kudus saying here, only Spurs fans would find a way to complain about buying a quality player. I don't think anyone's particularly complaining about it. I think a lot of people are assessing the situation more than anything. It's like what I keep saying. We need that number 10 more desperately. And we keep saying we need a goal scorer, and he's not a goal scorer. We keep saying we don't want the younger players. We want the more established players. And he is a younger player, but the one you can give him the leeway with on this one is he's actually got significant experience for his age, more than what we've had. So I'll take the age one out of it, but it does come down to we need the number 10 and we need the goals, and he don't score goals. Well, he hasn't in the past season or so, really. So there is questions you can ask on it. I don't think it's anyone just being specifically negative about it. I think a few people are just pulling it apart and having a serious look at priorities. And Jessica saying, I like Makate. Looks like a good smart head on his shoulders and playing passes. Yep. Totally agree with you. But again, Harvey Elliott is another one that I would quite happily take in at Spurs. And Spurs were all saying Elliott, Eze next. Yep, like I just said, Harvey Elliott is definitely one I would quite happily go for as well. But then there's a lot of people who don't think Harvey Elliott is good enough for us either. So the thing you'll find with football, again, in my opinion, a lot of it is down to opinion. Yeah, you can bring stats out there and everything else, and the stats can override things, but a lot of things do come down to opinion in football, and that is half the fun of it. A lot of us do have a lot of different opinions, and opinions are opinions. Some sound a bit more fruity than other people's opinions. I think we'll all agree on that. But at the end of the day, an opinion is an opinion, and you're entitled to say as you want and have whatever opinion you want. Some people might think your opinion's a bit weird. Other people might totally agree with your opinion. That's half the fun in the football, isn't it? In my opinion, in that aspect, that is half the fun in it. And Spurs will saying Arsenal will move in and get Savinho if he's 50 million. Will they? I mean, will they? I mean, I don't know where that one's come from. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I know that, but I don't see that happening. I mean, if they've got the 50 million to put down on the table, then I'm sure they could scuff up another 10 million sort of thing and make a deal for Eze. And they're meant to be specifically looking at Eze. So I'd be a bit surprised if Arsenal came in and went for it. But with a player of Savinho's capability and potential, I wouldn't be surprised if another club tried going for him at the same time as well. So again, anything's possible when it comes down to that side. And C2 the fourth saying City got him for 22 million up to 30 million. Yeah, it was about 25 million euros, which is about 22 mil. But most of that ain't activated. Got him cheap because they got him from themselves. Seems Savinho has been told he won't be starting regularly, so he's asked for a move. Yeah, I could go with that one as well. Maybe he just wants to see consistent football, and he's been told you're going to be a bit more of a subs player this year, and he just wants to play consistent football. You're always going to have the players that want to play the out-and-out football, consistent football. And they will either move to a slightly smaller club or a significantly smaller club where they know they're going to go into it and play consistent football. But then you're always going to get other players as well, which are a lot more mercenary, who looks on this as more of a job than anything else, and are more than willing to just stay at the club even if they don't get game time, basically, because to them it is a job. So again, each their own on that one. And Jessica's saying as well, Rodrigo or Savinho. Well, that goes without saying. It's Rodrigo all day long for me. I think anyone would say that. But Rodrigo is one that just is not going to happen. I mean, again, no one can ever say a fact on it, but I'll put a 99.9% and I'll put significant money on the table. Rodrigo ain't going to happen. David Clark, morning, mate. Hope you're good. If Spurs fans actually use their eyes, they would see that McAtee is so overrated, won't raise Spurs level. In under 21s Euros, he was average and he couldn't finish his dinner. Okay, fair enough. But again, that's purely your opinion. And like I said earlier, you're allowed your opinion, but you can't say for a fact that he wouldn't improve us. Again, it's purely an opinion. And Omar, Dan, allow it. We can't get excited over this. I'm not getting excited over it. I'm just asking questions, and it's something to more talk about than it is to just talk about how everything's just not going right at the minute. Machina Joe, Uber, yeah, I'm a long way behind on this. One thing you definitely do learn when you're doing this significantly is that when you're doing a show on your own, keeping up with the chat is not easy. So I'm going to jump forward a bit because I'm going to finish in about 5-10 minutes. It was just another quick one for the morning sort of thing where I had crap night's sleep. So I was up and then see the news. And I thought, you know what, might as well come and just do a bloody show on it. And Gareth, number 10, if I say your name right, forgive it if I don't bite my own tongue off trying to say any foreign name apart from bloody Smith or something. And big up, Dan, big up to you too, mate. And Kuda's also saying here, why wouldn't City do business with Levy? It's not his fault they didn't give him the Kane and the bargain. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Again, like I say, on a business side of it, if someone wants the money that much, I honestly don't think they're going to care about who they get the money from. There's a couple that might not do it. And yeah. And Dave, what you're saying here, Kulusevski is never a number 10 anyway. The few games he's played there, he has shown nothing. Well, on this one, I can tell you you're wrong. And I can tell you for a fact, he plays for a number 10 in Sweden all the time. And at Juventus, he played on the right-hand side for quite a while. And then they went and got Chiesa. And then they stuck him as a number 10 role. But what they did on the number 10 role was instead of a playmaker number 10, because you can have someone as a number 10, it doesn't mean they're a playmaker. They played him as the shadow striker, basically more than anything, I would say, with Ronaldo. And Ronaldo even did make the comments of like he felt it was an excellent pairing they had together. So he is a number 10. He's a number 10 more than he's a right-sided player. Check where he plays for his country. Check what he did for Juventus. And yes, he does play on the right-hand side as well, but he is a number 10. He's just not a playmaker. I think what you're doing here is assessing him with Maddison as such. And no, he's not a number 10 playmaker like Maddison is. But he is a number 10 attacking midfield central or even a shadow striker in that aspect. So check up where he's played and you might have a bit of a shock. And Aidan saying Pep doesn't hold back for players if they want out. No, he doesn't. I'd agree with that. If someone says it to him that they want out for whatever reason, he's more than willing to let them go because he knows he's more than willing and capable to back the bloody player up. So I totally agree with what you're saying now. And Lynn, morning, and she's saying, Dan, this is why you need quality and experience to even compete in the Champions League, because the quality in the Champions League is what all teams will face every week. Yep, totally agree with what you're saying there. I think Pepper's ruined Grealish like he did Phillips. God, you know what? Phillips, that's a player that go on, until you just mentioned that, I totally even forgot he existed. I mean, is he still at City? I can't remember City selling him. If I remember right, he went on loan. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, because when he was at Leeds, he actually looked pretty solid, didn't he? And then he went to City and it just didn't work for him. I mean, ruined Grealish. I mean, that season they'd done the treble. Grealish was a big part of that for the whole season and the way they played. What I think happened was, again, purely opinionated, what I think happened was the fact that he changed his tactics slightly, like he's got the capability of doing and the players to do it. And where he adapted and changed himself round a bit, Grealish just didn't fit into it as well. I don't think he quite ruined him. I just think it's where Pep does change it every season, basically, even if it's a little bit here and there. I think it had that bad effect on Grealish that he just didn't fit into the system anymore. I don't think Pep ruined him, because that season they'd done the treble. He was a big part of things. But Phillips, I don't think he was good enough for City in the first place. Very good, could have gone a couple of places, but City, I think, was a step too much up for him. And Andy saying, morning, Dan, big up, hit the morning likes, people. Thanks, mate, appreciated. And Paul saying, 130 people in here, 50 likes. Come on, people, help Dan out. He's got up early. Thanks, mate, it's appreciated. And Mr. Barker saying, why did you start supporting Spurs? Look, do you want to know what actually happened there quickly, yeah? When I was younger, I mean, I liked my football from when I was about 3 or 4. I mean, I never had a dad who was into football. Like, my dad was always more of a rugby or Formula One man and that. And he was never really there to watch sports anyway. I mean, he was a lorry driver, European, and he didn't really get to watch his sports anyway, but he couldn't stand football. He never did. I more got into it through just playing it and liking it. And I actually started off with Liverpool. Why? Because Liverpool were the best. And I think you find that with a lot of young people, if they don't have a dad or an uncle or a granddad, whatever, and I never had an uncle or granddad, that's usually the one that sort of pushes them in the direction of who to support. And I think you'll find with a lot of kids who haven't got that other figure in the family of who to support, they will usually go for the better team. Like, you got a lot of kids out there now who support Man City. And you go back 10 years, and when did you ever see a 6 or 7 year old support Man City? And Liverpool was the one for me. But what happened when I was about 6, I think? When I was about 6, give or take a year, my mate asked me if I wanted to go to a football match with him and his dad. So I did, and it was Tottenham. And then ever since then, I supported Spurs. Yeah, I won't deny it. Sometimes I do sit there and just think, why didn't I just fucking stick with Liverpool? But it is what it is, I suppose, isn't it? And Mako 80, someone will come in at that price. Again, it's more than believable, but no one's gone in for it yet. So either way. And Jason saying, Dan, big up to you too, mate. And Simon saying, Simon Side of Football saying, be a great signing if we can get this deal done. For me, it's a great signing as long as we get that number 10. That is more important for us. Tony saying, smash the likes and subscribe. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Mashing Joe saying, Uber to the airport for Richarlison. Do you know what? I'll throw him on my bloody shoulder and take him over there myself. Then we're back in again in the process. Don't care. He needs to go. The Animal AU, it's a dog eat dog. Yes, it is. Very much so. And I think we've seen a few things this year that proves that as well. Mapping also saying left wing 10 and a striker. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't see a striker happening. We ain't going to pay another 180 million or whatever. And Simon's also saying, I completely agree, Dan. If we get Eze, be last few days if he ain't gone to Arsenal. That is believable. It can happen, innit? And Big Day saying, happy Monday, fella. Yeah, start of the week again, innit? So I'm going to scroll down very, very fast. Sorry that I'm jumping quite a few people on here. Just trying to catch up with the last few on here before I finish this. And Mashing a Joe saying, playing every game is what I would want, even if I had to go somewhere smaller. Yeah, and that's totally understandable. A lot of people, a lot of players would prefer that. But then I think you'll also find there's a lot of players out there who would say, well, bollocks then, don't pick me and you can still pay me like 100 grand, 150 grand, 80 grand a week and I'll just sit there and do jack shit. That's just different people, isn't it? I think there's more people out there in football that are mercenaries than people might realise. Call it an opinion again. I think there's a lot of people, there's a lot of players out there who don't necessarily brag about it, but look on it as a job more than that they're in it for the passion and the heart sort of thing. Whereas the people like us look at it, and because pretty much any single one of us would basically not far off kill to be a football player, it's more of those things that something you appreciate it if you haven't got it as such, isn't it? And to some players, it is actually just a job for them, basically, isn't it? And as long as they're getting paid, they don't really care. But then you've obviously got the significant players out there who want to play football. So in that aspect, it's each their own. It's different players, different attitudes, different things, different potentials, isn't it? And Nabal, good morning to you, mate. World Cup year and Savinho walks into our 11. I agree, he does walk into the 11. Gets Champions League football and a huge pay rise. Yeah, I can agree with that. Does anyone actually know how much he is getting paid? Let me have a quick look, see if it does actually show on here. I don't actually know how much he is getting paid. I mean, being at City, I thought he gets significant money, but with his age 21 and not exactly a worldwide player yet, I don't think he'd necessarily be on 200 or 300 grand a week. So if anyone could tell me what he's on there, it'd be appreciated. Just I don't actually know. Like I say, I don't actually know that much about him. I only watched him play 7 or 8 games. And Sam's saying they're the same fan base who want Frank out after one pre-season loss, but kept saying to give Ange time when we were losing every week. A part of our Perth fan base are cooked. Yes, I do agree with that. We are the most divided fan base in the Premier League, in my opinion. In so many ways, we are divided and split up. It's not just down the middle with an opinion there, an opinion there. The Spurs fan base, in my opinion, is split up into about 8 different parts. But again, a lot of it just comes down to opinion. And Top Doc saying, morning, Ben, how we doing, mate? And this makes 0 sense why City would sell him other than FFP. That's what I mean. If they actually need the FFP, then they got to do what they got to do, because they don't bring in the same money we do unless they buy or sell players. Like Chelsea, they don't bring in the same sort of money that we do unless they sell their youth players or unless they win things. It's just where we are one of the few actual clubs out there that can actually support ourselves without actually having to sell players or win things. We are one of the few clubs in football that can actually do it. So I'm just going to say hello to the last couple and then leave it at that. And Sam saying, oh, sorry, Ben, I didn't even fully read what you put out there. This makes 0 sense. A City would sell him other than FFP, but this boy has actual talent. I mean, yeah, and elite level dribbler. I agree with that from what I have seen of him. Gets his head up awareness for eye of pass, speed, demon, danger man, uses both feet. Yeah, I can agree with that from what I've seen. I just think we need that number 10 more. And Sam, this is where we need to go get this one done quickly. This is the type of player Arteta would normally go for. Yeah, I could agree with that. So glad they got Madueke now, or they would definitely be in for Savinho. Do you know what? That's a point. I didn't think of that. The fact that they've gone and got Madueke, would they even go for him now? I don't think so. And last couple on here, Stanley Kush saying because he said he wants to leave to play more consistently, and one thing Pep does not do is standing in the way of a player who wants to leave. Yeah, totally agree with that as well, mate. And what's the morning point FC? Morning, mate. Morning to you too. And he's also seeing here for Ravino for Girona was a proper baller on the wing with 9 goals and 10 assists in 37 games. I heard he had a very good season out in Spain. And also Stanley Kush saying the media have made Grealish out to be a pisshead. Just so what? He's got pissed a couple of times. I couldn't give a shit. As long as it go. This is one thing that I must admit I do find strange, yeah? Does anybody actually care what the players go and do outside of the football? Do I really care what his sexuality is? Do I really care whether he wants to be a unicorn or not? Do I really care whether he likes to do a bit of gear in the back? Do I care if he wants to be a pisshead like when he ain't playing football? I really don't. As long as he does the bloody job on the pitch, that's all I care about. Go and have your private life, mate. I couldn't give a shit. Be a bloody unicorn or whatever you want to be. As long as you come on that pitch and do your bloody job, that's all I care about. And I do find a lot of people actually bothered about the player off the pitch. Now, I do get the picture on the image it can portray the club, but I really wouldn't care as long as he does his bloody job. And Stanley Kush saying the media have made Grealish out to be a pisshead. Yep, but he is actually one of the most dedicated trainers around. But obviously people try and buy what the media say. Well, the media do like controlling everything, don't they? And Philly2109 saying big up Danny and everyone in the chat. Looking forward to some West Indian cooking this weekend. Yes, definitely this weekend coming. Definitely going to make some more. I'm going to be making some more jerk chicken for me and my missus and that, because you said you like the stuff that I made as well. Didn't even make that hot. I didn't add the Scotch bonnets to it. Manchester City might have to sell to conform PSR reasons and help other players for themselves. Exactly. I agree. HMQ, good on you, Dan. Appreciate the content, mate. Thanks a lot, fella. Appreciated. And what's the point of saying YouTube keepers keepers unsubscribing me from channels? There's a spook in my net. Quite possibly, mate, but I haven't done it on here. 40k he gets. Okay, 40k. That's really not a lot, is it? So if he comes to Spurs, you would be expecting him to be getting a significant amount more of money, wouldn't you? I mean, if he's getting that there, I think we go and buy him after the season he's had and that. You could easily be saying that he's going to get paid 100 grand at least, isn't it? So, right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching this morning, people. It's appreciated. Don't ask often. Give us a quick like and subscribe would be very much appreciated as well. I'm nearly on 5k, getting close there. I think I'm about 120 away from that now. So everyone, have a good day anyway. I'm going to send you straight over to Sav's channel. I'm sure you know he's on there anyway. So go on there and just say Hotspur Hood raid for us. It's appreciated, mate. And everybody, hope you have a good day. I'll probably catch you on another channel later or something like that. Take it easy, people. Take care.